Hello everybody, CW here. I've got, I showed you these mag extensions, or these mag floor plates for the PMR 30. And I got a couple more of them in. So let's put them on and let's clean a couple mags. I wanted to show you these a little better anyway. So let's clean these mags out and show you how they manufacture their mag. And we'll call this a cleaning video. And let's make sure everything is good and safe here. Nothing in there. The gun's empty. We're not really going to do much with the gun, so let's just set it on the side here. And this magazine, we've already got a floor plate on, so we'll set that magazine aside and we'll just deal with these two. And if you just watched a recent video by Chris from the 740, he just did the exact same thing for his Smith & Wesson. He didn't add on floor plates, but he cleaned up some mags. And it's kind of neat because his is a 22 mag as well. So it's interesting to show the difference in the magazines here between the PMR 30 and the Smith. The Smith is more or less a copy of the PMR 30. And right off the bat here, I'll show you. That is powder, unburned powder from firing these guns. The magazine is very, very similar. If you watch his, it's even got the little notch in the back, and it's got the floor plate. This one is attached. His wasn't, or at least it didn't show in his video, but it goes in the same way, does the same thing. It's got the same little button on it, but that's common for a lot of them. It's got a follower. They use a different follower. And I've had a couple of commenters talk about the reliability of the PMR 30 compared to other guns, and they said that they had some problems with theirs. So what did I do to make mine so good running and reliable? And basically it's what Kel-Tec likes to call a fluff and buff. And basically what that means is you go over the entire gun, all contacting surfaces, and you round things off, you smooth things over, you eliminate burrs, you eliminate drag, you eliminate friction as much as possible, and you smooth things up. So that's what I've done. And a big part of that is the magazine, and a big part of that is the interior surfaces. And plastic is one of those materials that burnishes well. Burnishing is not removing material, it's rounding over, smoothing, and you do it with something hard and smooth, like a piece of metal, hard and smooth, round metal, and you rub it across and drag it over corners and edges. And because it's perfectly smooth, it doesn't remove any material, but it kind of smooths it out, what you're rubbing it on, and it burnishes it to the point where it's soft, no edges, no sharp corners, no anything. And a lot of stuff here on the magazine is what saw that kind of use. Inside, the feed lips on the side, anything and everywhere that something could drag. The follower saw a lot of this. Everywhere, everything. Where anything could drag or grab or cause a little bit of friction, it was done. You can use really, really small, really, really small, really, really light Scotch-Brite, but you don't really want to take material off. And again, this is a cleaning video, so we're just going to clean off any powder residue that was here. And just like on the Smith & Wesson, it's got a groove in the back of the follower, which runs up that groove in the back of the magazine. So that groove, I want to make sure that's good. No burrs, no sharp edges, no anything in there that will drag. This'll all benefit the Smith as well, because you know, it's very similar. It has the plastic magazine, and a mop works really well for this. You can get the mag cleaners like you saw Chris use, but they use a round, the Keltec uses a round spring. So it runs up the center of the magazine in a round recess here. So this really works well, and this is what I like to use on mine. So we've got everything done here. There is probably a little bit of oil on this rag, but it's mostly a dry rag. All right, so we've got it all clean. Only goes together one way. And we're going to have to change this, and we're going to change this. Now, this is where I had some difficulty with this product from this guy, and that is it doesn't fit. Things don't fit well. These are all printed items, and the reason you have to use his over the factory one is the height of it. The button here is much shorter on the factory as opposed to the aftermarket. So you need to use this one. And while this would probably work fine with the factory, it won't do the other way around because it doesn't offer enough resistance. If you watched my video, you saw that although the factory one will work, it can jump out with a little bit of force, and it's not good. I didn't like that. So you got to use the deeper one here. Now I'm hoping that he made some improvements, because I got pretty upset with this one, and I can see right here that this is a little bit different. There's an oval. This hole is oval where this one is round. And I had a bugger of a time getting this mag to go on, so much so, the base to go on, so much so that it broke. It broke. The filaments broke. And I didn't really hit it very hard. I was tapping on it with my hand to try and get it to jar, this piece to jar on the inside to drop in, because it was hanging up a little bit left or a little bit right, and it wouldn't snap in and be correct. So I'm hoping that this new one that I just got is going to be better, and I'm hoping that it's a little bit stronger too, because that's going to be a bummer if this is going to be a problem. So that goes on there. This gets pushed on here, and the same way this goes on. Now this is a little bit difficult because it's got extra piece on here to be able to guard the back of the gun where the mag release is. So it's longer. So it's kind of difficult to put together. And you have to be careful, because you can get off in left field. All right. All right. This one snapped right on. No problem. Perfectly fine. And I'm just going to wrap it here to make sure that that button comes all the way up and is secured to hold the mag base plate on. And this one worked fine. This one, I said some colorful words and I wasn't really too happy. And I contacted him and told him that there's a big problem with these things. And he assured me that it was easy. You just had to do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and it would be fine. But I didn't see it. So, and like I said, these are pretty good, but they can use with just a little bit of refinement. And this is just a little light file. I'm just taking off this little edges and pieces of the filament from the printing. And it comes right off. Sorry, I bumped the camera with my face. But there you go. And again, it's an empty mag and a safe gun. But the reason that I liked this design was because of this. The magazine had the ability, or had the tendency, to get bumped, and the mag would pop out. And then with a full mag, it had some weight and it could drop out and you could lose the mag. So that was really not too cool. So this design here is much bigger than this design. You can see. Let's put the other, let's put this other magazine in. We can compare it right off the bat. See, all open, and you can hit this and this can pop out and you can lose it. So not great. This is much better. I just think that you could refine this printing. Maybe somebody who knows how 3D printing works. If Tin Man watches the video, he'd probably know, or maybe Buck, or maybe 6 Shooter Tex, and all these guys have 3D printers. Maybe they know there's a different filament that could be used, or a different way of printing this, that it wouldn't be so susceptible to this kind of ruination here. And you can see how the filament goes back and forth. See the little tendon there? Goes back and forth when it prints it, lays the filament, lays the material down, and it's almost like it doesn't get glued together really well. It snapped this piece off altogether, and I didn't do a whole lot. I didn't hit it hard. If this magazine was full of ammo, okay, and you dropped it on that base plate, I didn't even hit it that hard. So this would break just by dropping it, and that's pretty crappy. All right, so we got that one done. So we got 2 done. Let's really quickly do this one. We know how everything's going to work. You depress the little pin. You slide the floor plate forward, holding your thumb over it so you don't send everything into orbit. Set your pieces on the side. Pull the spring out, pull your follower out, mop out the inside of your magazine. Make sure there's nothing in there that's going to cause you any kind of problems. And this one appeared cleaner than the other one. So I don't see anything on here. I don't see the same kind of powder residue here that I saw on the other one. So this one here is pretty clean. Again, I've got no solvent or anything out here. I'm just wiping things off. And this spring looks pretty good. I don't see anything on it. And nothing is really needed on these. There we go. All right. Only goes in one way. Put the follower back in, the spring back in. These are the factory parts. Let's get this. Let's get another one of his followers. Put it on the spring. Hold it in place here. Let's hope we can get this one on without too much problem. Not much you can do if it doesn't snap up in there. See, like, it didn't go. It didn't snap up in. If it doesn't snap up in there and catch itself, there's not much you can do to move it around to make it catch itself. Because if you start banging on it, you're going to end up with it broken. So you gotta kind of be careful. We're just trying to move that little button so that it grabs the magazine. And you can see here it doesn't want to do it, but it will go right in the hole. So it's got some kind of an alignment issue, and it's a little bit frustrating because it shouldn't ought to be a big hard ordeal. Oops. You do it this way. It should go together like that and just snap right together, but it doesn't. And you can't really see in there with this lever, with this angle. You can't see it as plainly as you can with the factory to know which way you've got to push it or turn it or move it. So you just kind of hope that you can jar it by tapping on it. Hey, nope. This one's going to be a bugger. And this is what I talked to him about. And he swore that, nope, it's an easy thing, no big deal. Well, it ain't. You see what happens? It's very frustrating. So this one I'm not going to screw with anymore because I'm just going to end up with the same thing I got over there. And see how good that goes? That's how it's supposed to work. And there's no reason why this stuff can't work the same way. So I got 2 of them on. But like I said to the guy, they don't all work. And for this reason, I can't really recommend this product. I'm excited about the design, but it's just a failure. It's not acceptable. And when you have to tap on it, bang on it to make it fit, it shouldn't break. And that the kind of hitting we're doing here is not a big deal, and it shouldn't be a problem, but it doesn't work. So I'm hoping these are going to be all right, but you can see, you know, if I just drop one of these, it's probably going to splinter and break, and that's going to be a mag failure. And if it happens out in the field, it's going to be bad. So I cannot recommend these to anybody because of these kind of problems. There we go. That's how you clean a mag. That's what the mags look like for the PMR 30. I hope you found it interesting. If you're thinking of one of the other guns, the Smith & Wesson or this one, I can't comment on the Smith. I haven't shot one. I haven't even had one in my hand, but I've seen them in the showcase. And it's kind of exciting. I really like the idea of a 22 Magnum pistol. And this one works really good. So I don't really have any designs on picking up the Smith. But if it didn't, it would be something I would be interested in, and maybe something that you would like as well. So there you go. God bless everybody. This video is done. CW out.